Coming up, Shane's going to take us through breaking down that deer we caught the other day into manageable pieces for both transport and storage in your fridge and freezer while you wait to decide on which recipe you're going to cook out of the Field to Fork cookbook. Now, butchering is not a skill most of us get right the first time. Practice and learning from a seasoned hunter is how you improve this art. Many SSAA branches run courses on not only bettering your aim, but field dressing and butchering your catch. So contact your local SSAA rep or log on to SSAA National website to find out if they've got any courses available at the time, or give them a call and I'm sure they'll point you in the right direction.
So here's our meat animal we shot the other day. He's been hanging for a couple of days now to let the meat set, which makes it a lot easier to butcher. We're going to skin him out, bust him up into some basic cuts for you to take home to make it a bit easier for you to cut it up into the sections that you want before you get started on your Field to Fork menu and some of the recipes that's in the book. So righto, away we go. First thing we're going to do is run up the inside of the legs. We're going to start skinning out from the top and gradually working our way down the bottom. So we're just going to start making a bit of room for the knife to go under. Just going to slip it in between the membrane of the skin and the meat and just run your blade straight up the inside of the leg, just pulling out slightly. There we go. Then we're just going to start working the skin. This is a skinning knife. You can see the shape of it. It's got a nice curve so you can flay down the side between the skin and the membrane. We just gradually work our way right around so we can get enough cut off so we can then start pulling our skin down the carcass. So now the process is the same. We just keep working our knife between the skin and the flesh membrane there, as you can see. And we just work our way from the top right down. Okay, we've got the first leg done, all skinned out there, ready to pull down. Clean around the top. We're just going to move over to our second leg now and do the same process. Okay, so once you've got them separated from around the top of the hocks, you can start pulling your skin down, like so. Good thing to do is to use your hand. You can just punch it. Okay, so we're just going to keep punching the skin out as far as we can, just using our hand and your knuckles in here between the skin, membrane and the meat. They are a bit harder to skin once the meat's set, but it's a good idea to leave the skin on if you want somewhere to protect it. If you come across little bits like this, just grab your knife and just carefully trim them out. You'll find it's all seams, you just follow the seams. Righto, we're just going to move around the other side now. Same again. Okay, so we just keep pulling down around his bum. We will have to cut around that in a second to help it come down a bit further. Just if it's a bit slippery, just roll the skin back on itself like so, and it gives you something to hang on to. Again, just rolling up. Okay, we're just going to cut around the tail now. Okay, so we're just going to separate the tail. Try not to cut a big hole in the skin. There we go. Then we just keep pulling our skin down and working our whole way down. Before we get too much further, what we're going to do is we're also going to run up the inside of the legs. Once we get this down a little bit further, that way it saves the skin from hanging over the top of where you're working on next. So you don't want to cover that up because it's difficult to hold the skin back up and then cut again. So we'll just finish this off a bit, then we'll do the inside of our front legs, get that all ready to come off as well. Right? Okay, there's our bullet hole. I think that's our exit on that side. If I spin him around, there's the other hole on the other side, which took out the top of his lungs, which is pretty good. So we haven't lost too much meat at all, really. A little bit of bruising around those sections there. Clean missed the back strap, the fillets inside, I think you've missed as well. Okay, the front legs, we're just going to do the same thing that we did up the top. We're just going to separate the skin from around the shank. And then we're going to pull it off. Okay, so now we've got it skinned out, we're going to start on our butchering process, just a really quick bust up section. Your back straps run down here, either side of the spine. You can see where the tops of the shoulder blades run through here. We're going to start through there. We're going to separate these two shoulder flaps from the back strap because we don't want to go hacking into that and wreck our back straps. All right, so let's get started on that. Righto, so we're just going to run our knife blade straight down the backbone. And again, you can see the seam from the shoulder, and there's our back strap in there. So we're just going to separate the shoulder. Okay, so we're just going to keep working on cutting away from this whole piece of shoulder and skirt. When you're butchering, just take your time, and you're following seams, and you can see the seam. It's just a matter of following that seam. Quite a bit of bruising here through the skirt, as you can see, so we can cut all that off later. Again, that's just all seam that we can follow. As you can see, there's our bullet hole. We've got a little bit of bruising around the meat. The rest of this is just coagulated blood that's run down between the membranes, between the skin and the flesh. So there's nothing wrong with it. We can clean all that up, so don't throw it all away. Okay, so we're nearly right through. There we go. One shoulder. Pop that in the esky on ice and we'll get started on the other one. Even though the meat is set and it's a pretty cool day today, it's always a good idea to pack your meat in ice, especially these ice packs so you don't end up with water all over your meat. Okay, we're just going to repeat the same process on this side. Righto, there's our second one. Same thing again, we're just going to put him on the ice. Okay, so now we're going to remove the back straps, which run down either side, which same thing again, we're just going to work along the bone. If you want to do cutlets, you'd leave the back straps in place and then you'd cut your ribs, and then through you split down the centre, and then your cutlets, because that's the eye of your cutlet. Right, but we're just going to remove the back straps. So you can see your tailbone running down here. We're going to start right on that ball section there. Okay, just going to run our knife in nice and tight against the backbone, not too deep, just go a little bit at a time. You'll be able to feel your knife running along the edge of the backbone. Don't rush this, because this is one of the best parts. Once you've separated to the backbone, you can start pulling it out with your fingers. If you have a look in there, you'll see that it should start rolling out quite nicely. I don't know if you can see that or not, but like so. Okay, once we've got our back strap separated a bit from along the back of the spine here, you should be able to get your hand into it and just run your hand and pull, and it should separate away like so. Then that gives you something to hang on to. You can just keep working your way up. As you can see, we've got a beautiful back strap here. It's from a nice young animal. You can do anything with meat because it's such good quality. It's one of the best cuts on the animal. Okay, so we've come all the way back up to the base of the pelvic bone. Again, we just start on the seam. We just separate that, and there we go. There's our nice back strap. Beautiful looking piece of meat. Just pop that one in nice as well. Okay, so that's one side, and it's just a matter of repeating the process on the other side, and away we go. Same thing again, starting up here right at the base of the pelvic bone. We've got our back straps off. Now we just cut down the side of the skirt to get that out the road so we can get at our fillet steak, which runs down the back here. Definitely don't want to leave that behind. Okay, same thing again, we're just going to work right along the edge of the backbone. Just go very slowly and very carefully along here, because your eye fillet is by far the best piece of meat. I'm just going to follow the seam right up to there. There we go. There's your fillet steak. All right, and same again on this side. So our back straps are out, fillet's out. We're going to cut through the top of the pelvic bone here through the joint and just bust this whole section off. We're going to use the rest of this for dog meats. We're not going to waste any of it. There's still a few ribs in there that are okay. This is just blood. Like I said, you can clean all that off. Simple as that. If you want to make your own ribs, you can. There's still plenty of meat left on it, you know, all these bits and pieces here you can use. Okay, process is right below the pelvic bone and the tailbone. You can feel the joint in there, the knuckle. Just put your knife in there, get a little cut in through that, both ways. And crack it off. Like so, and then it rips off. There we go, so we'll keep that for the dog. Okay, now we're going to start up the top here, run our knife down the seam. We're just going to separate the two legs. Straightforward, same as what we've been doing, just follow the seams. Okay, now the legs, if you've got room, you can take them and hang them for a bit longer. Yeah, obviously you can use them as full roasts, you can bust different joints down. If you want to start cutting it up into other cuts when you get home, same thing again, it's all seam work. So we follow that seam, we follow that seam around there, and it's just a matter of breaking it up into your basic cuts. This is our final step. Once I've got these done, I'm going to take them home, set them in the fridge for a few more days, go through our Field of 4 cookbook and pick out some great recipes.